Hey again, everybody. So today, I want to kind of talk on just kind of one of my favorite things. And there's a moral or a lesson in this too, but um, I have like a list of topics that I usually want to hit on with these videos. And one that I'd written down a long time ago is a quote from Berserk, which is my favorite fictional anything ever. Um, Probably my favorite story ever. Um, and so there's a quote in it that says, "This is just a stone in the road. Your goal lies far beyond this, doesn't it?" And so the main character, Guts, he doesn't say this directly to Griffith, but he's thinking it as he leaves the band of the Hawk. And if you know the story, then you know what scene that I'm referring to and where that quote is from. But this is something like I first read that. First time I read it was when I was 16, 17, and so really not that long ago. But since then, I've reread it maybe 3 or 4 times, um, and that part always sticks out to me. And if you know the story, this is the kind of turning point for Guts as he, decides to leave kind of this family that he had behind because he didn't know who he was yet. So, and him leaving this, devastates Griffith. And so that's what Guts is saying there is that this is just a stone in the road for him. He has much larger goals beyond this. So, and this is something that when I read that really resonated with me at the time. At that time, I was junior year of high school, um, and the year prior, I had been in a relationship, and then she had moved. And so as far as like social things were going on, wasn't super great. I think I was having a fight with my friends at that time as well. Um, and so Berserk kind of came into my life at like the perfect time, and really taught me of kind of trying to seek after who I am when I'm by myself. And so Guts' story really, at least that part of it, resonated with me at that time. And so this is something though that I have to remind myself of, and is kind of why I reread it pretty often and rewatch it, which I pretty much only watched the '90s anime version of it. But the Golden Age stuff isn't too bad of the new episodes. But anyway, this this morality or this lesson that can be pulled from it is such an important one to remind yourself of, that you are a person that exists separate from all these other people, and it's um, hard not to forget that sometimes when we're so caught up in like what our family thinks of us, what our friends think of us, and our definition of ourselves um, does not, like, we cannot define ourselves without these other people or these other things. And when that starts to happen, you're not existing for you, you're existing for something else. And that's not what you want. The goal is to exist for you and understand what being with yourself and living with yourself looks like. And so that's kind of the lesson of this part of Berserk. Um, but I also just during that time in high school when I had first read it, was also when I first started researching Stoicism and other ways of thought, different schools of thought, and things like that. And uh, and another thing that I want to touch on with the kind of topics surrounding this, and the methods of stoicism, or kind of the press on or endure lesson that can be pulled from Berserk, is that it's hard sometimes to not kind of put yourself into a victim mentality after you read these things, and like you kind of see like, man, like these characters or this person went through so much, and it reminds me of myself because I go through a lot. And you don't want to turn into the, kind of edgy, like, kind of weird guy that takes everything personally and is like, oh, this is just another thing that's going to be character development. Like, don't take everything as a personal attack, or view everything as having to be some kind of character development for you. That's good when it's a really serious thing, but I think sometimes it's kind of easy to get into that mindset that everything is that way, and that there is no break. You can't catch any break, and you almost wish that you had as much struggle as somebody else, that you would have a chance to prove yourself. And this is dangerous thinking, because then you're going to end up putting yourself into situations that you can't handle, and kind of expecting that by throwing yourself right into the deep end, or the hottest part of the fire, that's instantly going to make you into a stronger person. But sometimes we're not ready for it, and that's kind of why it's good to just kind of let things go as they will, because the right trials and the right people are going to come along and shape you, and it's at the pace that you want it to be set to, and you can increase that by deliberately putting yourself into more risky situations. And I don't think it's good to also completely retract and hide yourself from those riskier situations, because you're not going to learn anything, but just letting it flow as it will. And so with the stone in the road quote, though, this metaphor is similar to kind of the quote by Marcus Aurelius, of that the obstacle is the way, that like which I've spoke on before, but that there's going to be these parts along the path that are either going to be a stone or they're going to be a boulder, and sometimes we can't let what should just be a stone become a boulder, or this metaphorically larger problem, because sometimes we blow it way out of proportion, and we almost want an excuse to say, oh, that was too much, or I can't handle this, or and so we make that stone into something more than it really is, which is just another rock on our path. And if you can view it like that, as a part of your path, and as just a stone and not a blockade, then you can get past it a lot faster, and learn a lot more from it, rather than just sitting in it and letting your mind focus on that. So yeah, so that's one of my favorite quotes from Berserk, and Berserk is one of my favorite things ever. So kind of wanted to share that and talk about that. But yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking about today. I have some fun things coming up tomorrow. I have a party with my friends, and today we got some shopping done, some Christmas shopping, and yeah, and then party, and then Christmas. Christmas Eve on Sunday, and then Christmas on Monday. So yeah, a lot of fun things going on. So I hope you all are continuing to do well, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.